Rolling down Highway 41. Let's
Good
go.
stuff.
Lord, I was born a rambling man, trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Again.
When it's time for leaving, I hope you'll understand. Lord, I was born a rambling man. Wow, and we are live.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Welcome to another episode of the Green Thumb Podcast. I'm your host, Eisen Huang, and you know what? We are at a historic day today, man. You want to guess why?
Me?
Yeah, first of all, man, we got our first Zoom interview
A
ever.
first Zoom. That is true.
Yeah,
That
I
is
did.
true.
And it's also the first time me showing my face. Loki kind of anxious about that, let's be honest. But yeah, today I have the very tall, very handsome chocolate man, Calvin. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be on the podcast. And my name is Calvin. I went to university with Eisen in Hong Kong. And yeah, that's pretty much how we know each other.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So recently I've been seeing a lot of stuff on your Instagram about
hmm
film photography. You have a
Yeah,
Instagram account, Calvin on Film, right?
that's exactly it. So basically, that whole thing started because I used to go on a lot of trips and I would just travel all the time and never have the reflex of taking photos with my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's how it kind of came about to film photography. So it started with disposable cameras just to kind of have more intent to take photos just because it's more exciting. You can't see what it looks like and everything. And eventually I bought like a point and shoot camera. And then actually, because of COVID, I think during quarantine, I was just sitting at home bored. And I was like, I need to get more serious about this photography thing. So I bought a better camera, and yeah, I just got to researching how, because I used to not want to actually learn how that stuff works.
Dude, that's
I
just
was just being,
complicated. Learning
exactly, I
about
was
like
being
fucking
lazy.
focus point, fucking
Exactly. I was like,
yeah,
nah, man, I don't have time for that stuff. I just want to take nice photos.
yeah,
But then,
exactly.
you get a nicer camera and then you have to learn the stuff. So I got to kind of learning it, and I actually designed a photo album as well with some of my old photos. So
Mm,
because I just had a lot of time. And yeah, now I have the Instagram account. It's grown quite a lot actually, so I'm pretty happy with that. And about a month ago, I actually started a website where I'm selling prints and putting my stuff up there.
mm.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of time, but it's very exciting and something that I really enjoy doing.
Well, I always knew you were a bit artsy, even back then. Like, we met each other 6 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
2014. Even back
hmm
then, I think I would see you going to like art museums and whatnot. I knew you were a fan of hip hop, like Kanye and all that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
so going back to what you just said, when you were on trips, or
Mm.
like initially, did you start out as just like, oh, it's something nice to keep for my memory, or like what
Mhm.
was that? Like, what made you want to start in the first place?
Yeah, yeah. It was that's what it was. It was just like I'd go on like a really nice trip to Japan, and then I'd come home and have like two pictures, and it was just like like that's such a fucking shame. So yeah, at first it was just like having memories, and kind of getting that that small excitement of having to wait for the photos to come out and see what they look like. There was not much art to it. It was just like, oh, this landscape
The
is pretty. Let me
mystique
take a photo.
aspect.
Exactly. It was just more about like the mystery and stuff.
Yeah, I agree, man. I actually got started because I was with Jeremy out, and then we saw our
hmm
buddy, and then him and his girlfriend were taking photos using the thing, and then
Right.
she's like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to get," because you know how you have to fulfill like 27 for the
Yeah, yeah,
disposable,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you go get it printed. So she was just trying to like finish it out, right?
Finish it off.
So
Yeah.
yeah, she's like, "Oh, you guys want to hop in?" So we hopped in,
Mm.
and then she came out, she shared it. I was like, "Wow, this." Like just from the aesthetics, this feels like
Mm.
really warm. This looks really freaking good.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, so that's how I got into it. And then it's actually a funny story. My first disposable, all of them
yeah.
turned out trash because I didn't know indoors you have to turn on the flash.
Same here, man. Don't worry. Same here.
But
Like the
yeah,
first time, I think everything was overexposed. Like half of them were just all white or all black 'cause I didn't turn on the flash. Like once I got some film developed in Japan, and I think I had maybe five pictures that came out. And the guy was just like, there's literally like most of these I can't even give to you because they're just a black screen. Like damn, you know, and you paid for that shit too. So like, it's
Just,
like damn.
dude, even he feels sorry for you, man. Dude, that's a bad
Yeah,
place to be.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and then so I tried that shit again, got a second one, and then yeah, got a lot better photos. And then
Mm,
for me at least, what I really like about the disposal, as
yeah,
opposed to like the one that I eventually got, is that the disposal, you don't need a focus, which is like a,
that's
you know,
true.
good and bad thing, like a double-edged
Hmm.
sword, right?
For
But
sure.
obviously it's bad because you can't focus. But then the good thing is like you can just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And it's gonna be in focus. Like I
exactly.
mean, the photo's gonna come out sharp.
And what I really love about that is like you, because personally I really enjoy like candid photos. I don't like it
Hmm.
when people pose, you know,
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that
yeah,
cute
yeah.
shit and all that. I hate that.
For sure, for
And
sure.
even though like you might look like ass in the like in the real time photos, it's
Hmm.
man, it just looks so much better. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no,
Oh,
I totally feel you on that because like I mean I've been kind of I guess a photographer is supposed to have a style or something.
yeah, yeah.
I just take pictures of like a bunch of different stuff.
Actually,
But
yeah,
what
that's
I'm
my next question. What like
mm,
what so how did your style change over time?
so I think it happened a lot through well, first of all, through wanting to get better at photography and also through like getting less ashamed of the camera. Because like before it was like,
Less ashamed. What do you mean by
well,
that?
in the sense that it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I always feel kind of awkward and like shy
You
about
know,
being out with my camera and taking pictures of people because
oh,
people kind of look at you straight. You know what I
so
mean?
you mean like the social aspect of like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
photographer.
Exactly. That
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So even if you're just walking around, it's like, I try to take pictures of people on the street, like random people, right? But
Mm.
then there's a lot of shots I don't take just because I'm like, this person is way too close and it's gonna be so obvious or it's gonna be awkward. Or I'll ask if I'm with a friend, I'll ask them to pretend like they're posing, so that it looks like I'm taking a picture of them. I'm taking a picture of the person behind.
Dude, you're
And
slick.
like when you get like more comfortable with that,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can, with street photography at least, you can get more comfortable, just kind of take pictures, like not really give a fuck about how people are looking at you. Because something that would be like super stressed about before, like, oh, I look like a fucking idiot trying to take a picture of this flower right now. Like I don't want to, you know. But so yeah, so that contributed, and also it was like getting really interested. Well, right now, like I really like portraits. Like I want to do a lot more portraits and stuff.
Like Gunner
But
style.
I mean, any style really, but it's more
Mm.
like um, it's hard to get one to actually come out good.
Oh yeah, for
Is
sure.
what you realize, and then there's also I think a lot of the part that people forget about is how, as a photographer, you have to make the person comfortable so they can pose. Because I mean, I'm not trying. I mean, I don't know any models. I'm not trying to shoot any models. I'm not trying to pay anybody to take their photos. But when
Yeah,
you're with your
no.
friends that are kind of camera shy and everything, you really gotta make them comfortable. Tell them what to do. Tell them where to look and everything. And that's just, I mean, it's a learning curve. But yeah, that's kind of how. But otherwise, it's really just. I don't think I have a style or anything. It's just like I'm somewhere pretty, or I see something pretty, or I see something kind of cool, or I like what this person is wearing, and I'll take a photo. It's kind of
Man,
more
yeah.
natural like that.
Yeah. Well, actually that's a good point because I think for you, I think you have pretty high EQ. So, I mean, would you agree? Like
EQ,
you're okay, right?
EQ,
Like emotional
emotional.
intelligence.
Ah, yeah, I got better. I think
Mm.
before I used to get, I think, angry too much. I think you see that side of it if you ever see me play basketball.
Oh
Um,
no, but basketball, like I get it though. You know.
yeah, yeah, you know what I mean. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think that's where like the dark side comes out, and
The
all the
dark
like,
arts.
all the anger comes out. But yeah, no,
That's where the
otherwise, like
Slytherin comes out, boy.
exactly, man. The dark side. People come see me play basketball and be like, "Man, you're like scary out there. Like I thought you were a nice guy. Like, what is this about and everything." Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I think yeah, now it's pretty much under control. I try to stay calm in most situations.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you. So with your most recent one,
Mm,
I took a quick look and it
yeah,
seems it's well, it's like mostly from your house, right? Like views from your house. How would you describe
yeah,
it? Views from the
yeah.
balcony?
Yeah, yeah. So that was basically this is where the quarantine part comes in. Is really like because so I'm in Spain in Barcelona because that has not been made clear before. But so the
Oh, I
quarantine
thought you were
here.
in France.
No, I'm in Barcelona. I live in
Oh yeah,
Barcelona,
let's
and
catch up with what you've been doing since graduation in a second. But yeah, continue
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. So no, I'm in Spain right now, and so in Spain, the quarantine was like messed up. It was like 2 months of only being able to go outside to do groceries. So you
Mm.
couldn't go for a walk, you couldn't go for a run. You literally could only be outside to do groceries. So this means just spending ages at home. And we're lucky enough to have like a balcony and like this rooftop terrace. And so I had ordered this new camera and I had to take photos. You know what I mean? So it was really just hanging out on my balcony,
So
looking
it's
at
like a
people walk
timing
by.
issue. You like get it,
Yeah,
you get a new camera, you're all excited. It turns out
exactly.
you
You
have to be
can't go
stuck at
outside to
home.
take photos. It's crazy. So
Yeah,
then, yeah, I was just like on my balcony trying to get people walking by, or my neighbors on their balcony. If I have a neighbor that's smoking on the balcony or something, stuff
man,
like
yeah.
that. And yeah, I mean, it forces you to get creative and stuff. And it was, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed doing it 'cause I'm happy with how the pictures came out. And it's
Yeah.
also, there's also like a whole human side behind it because actually, so during quarantine, I live with a friend from high school, and so we were just like us two living together during this quarantine. And actually,
Mm.
we got to become friends with a bunch of neighbors from our street,
Oh, no
just
way.
from yeah, just from hanging out on the rooftop and stuff because they have their rooftop and it's right there. And so yeah, and it's kind of funny because before you get up, you go to work and you come back at night. You never see anybody ever. Like the neighbors that live on the same street as you, like 50 meters from you, you never see their faces. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I just got to meet a bunch of people that didn't know lived in my street, and now we hang out all the time and stuff.
Oh,
So, yeah,
man.
I like how those photos kind of tell that story too.
Yeah. Isn't it pretty ironic that like you literally live like right next door to them or across the street? You don't know
Yeah,
who the fuck they are, what they
exactly.
do exactly.
It's
Well,
insane.
yeah,
It's crazy.
I looked at your photos and man, like I'm not trying to flatter you, but like
Mm.
they look so they're well, I mean they're really beautiful. It's like they're really there's a sense of like quietness to it. Like a
Yeah,
sense of
thank you.
how do I say? Well, I mean like I guess part of it is like I'm really intrigued by like whole European architecture. I've never been
Hmm.
to Europe. So
Yeah,
like that aspect really captures my attention, but at least like the photos that you take has a real sense of serenity to it. It's kind of like
yeah.
the 4 o'clock sunset. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that
Yeah,
warm kind of
thank you.
feeling.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I mean it's something that I've heard a lot from other people. A lot of people have told me that actually some people have said my pictures are all cold, and some
Cold.
people have said that they're more warm. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. Like I told you, like there's no style, there's no intent, so it's just like I see something nice and I'll just take a photo of it. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the positive feedback always.
Yeah, man. So let's I want to ask what have you been up to? I think I was supposed to see you when you came back for graduation in
Yes.
September of
Were
2018, but I was at coding camp. I was here in California
That's
doing the coding
right.
camp.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so I
exactly.
got
I was thinking about that. Yeah, just before, and I was like, I don't remember if I was still at school when you did the coding camp or not. Mm-mm.
no, yeah. So I think probably last time I saw you was it must have been like June or May before that summer then.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was May because we went to Korea after graduation. Well, when we
Oh yeah.
finished, and that was
Yeah.
yeah, that's like late May, mid May, something like that.
Mm. So yeah, how was
Yeah.
what have you been doing since?
Ah, man. So I don't know if you remember, but like when we were finishing, well, when I was in my final year, I got these really big like job opportunities for Heineken and Adidas,
Mm.
and they flew me out to Europe and everything, and
Yeah.
those were like my two big things, and nothing worked out. And that sucked because Adidas especially was the worst because I mean it was the dream, and you was like
Yeah.
you're touching the dream, and it just evaporates.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sucks. I mean, it was a super cool experience. I got to go to the HQ of Adidas and meet all these really smart people and stuff. But then not getting the job just really hurt because it was like this, it's the dream. I love sneakers. I love basketball. I can work for Adidas, which is I think is an awesome brand.
Yeah. And most
And yeah,
important, you love shoes.
yeah,
You got a
yeah,
shoe
yeah.
rack behind you right there.
Exactly. I got the shoe rack behind me. You can see the collection.
Ooh.
um, so yeah, that really really sucked. And then it was like end of April, and I had nothing, no job offers, no nothing, and I wanted to go back to Europe. So yeah, I just finished the year with nothing, and then my mom is living in Spain, so I'm in Barcelona, and she's basically on the other side of the country. Um, so that was home, so I just went there. And not gonna lie, that was pretty rough because it was like 8 months at home, in a city where I don't know anyone. It's a pretty small city. People are not very interesting. I got to play some basketball in the summer, so that was cool, but like whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was just like rejection over rejection over rejection over rejection over rejection. And you get to this point where I think one of the lowest points was probably when so I flew to the Netherlands for these job interviews, and
Mm.
this one company in Rotterdam, like I went there in person, did the interview and everything, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna let you know by the end of the week and everything." They never ever called me back.
There's
Like
ghosts of you.
it's like not a yes, not a no, and you're just like you get to a point where you start doubting yourself. You're like, damn, like I thought I was pretty good because they ace invited me and everything. What's
Dude,
up?
let me tell you, because I'm in that situation right now. So,
Okay.
I finished school in May because I
Hmm.
graduated late, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I came back to California around Christmas last year
Hmm.
because during that time the protests were happening in Hong Kong, and my family was kind of worried. So they're like, "Get the fuck back home." So I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure."
Yeah.
So I just go back, and then I was only supposed to be here for a month.
Hmm.
So I was come back around Christmas, leave January 26th.
Yeah.
But around a week before I was supposed to leave,
Mm.
the whole Corona thing started happening in China, right? So my parents got really worried again. So that they're like,
Mm.
okay, please don't go back. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait maybe 2 weeks or a month and
Mm.
then see how the situation develops, and then I'll go back to Hong Kong. Well, it only got worse. So eventually, I just
Yeah.
stayed here the whole time. But I mean, I'm trying to say I've been at home since December,
Mm.
and it's September now, so I've been here for pretty much 9.5 months, and this whole time I don't have a job, and it was kind of bearable when there was still school because I had something to do, right? Like
Of
something to
course.
take
Of
up my
course.
time. But ever since
Absolutely.
I graduated and over the summer and this month, it's just been like, yeah, just applying to jobs, trying to get better at coding. I mean,
Mm.
that's like the saving grace. I'm getting better at coding every day. But like
Yeah.
I'm applying to so many jobs, and it's always like, oh, thank you for your application. After reviewing your submission, we are sorry to
Ah,
inform you that, or we have decided to move on. And every time you read that email, it's just like another dagger to the heart. And like,
exactly.
I know I'm not dumb, like we both went to reputable university in Asia,
For sure. For
and
sure.
you've done internships at you did a freaking internship at MBA, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, and I did
Yeah.
internships at
So.
wherever. I
Mhm.
know I'm not dumb, but like after seeing so many rejections, you start thinking to yourself, like, excuse my language, but like, am I fucking retarded? Like, you
No,
know what I mean?
exactly. No,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. It's like, damn, like, because I start to, put everything in question. Am I doing something wrong? Am I saying stupid things in the interviews? Is there something wrong with my CV? Like, did I not do it? Like, and you
Yeah,
just get
yeah.
in kind of like this negative spiral. Like, actually, the funny thing is, this job I have right now. So I'm doing marketing for a company that sells marine navigation software here. And like, so I think I had the interview like end of November, and they told me we'll contact you before Christmas. So Christmas came around, and you're just in that negative mindset. So I'm just like, all right, I'm not having, I don't have this job. Like it's done,
Mm.
And in the end, they call you back in January and stuff. I mean, yeah, I guess it's some sort of lesson about never losing hope or something. But man, like
Some bullshit like that.
it's some bullshit, Like you can't.
Yeah.
It just sucks because you're at home. You feel like you feel useless.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank God we have like we're lucky enough to have parents that can take care of us during those
Exactly.
times. But like, you feel bad. You're not making any money. You got to ask your parents for
And
money
every
when you
time
want to
your
do
parents give
stuff.
you money, it's like, oh, here's $300. You're like,
Yeah,
you feel like such a piece of shit.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, man. Oh man, yeah, it sucked.
But
So
wait,
yeah,
so
so
how long were you well, basically unemployed?
8 months, eight
Eight
months
months.
in
Yeah,
total.
that's a
Yeah,
tough time, man.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
actually, I
that's
just
tough.
talked to Sana. Remember Sana?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to him recently. This is like a side story, but he was also
Mm,
in like our situation, well, my situation, at the beginning of this year. But he actually turned it around, and he's running a pretty successful like startup in Mongolia. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
I guess
Yeah.
yeah, that's another thing is like some people can take these opportunities and like make
No,
something even better than like if they had a successful job right after graduation, right?
for
But
sure,
yeah,
for sure.
what were we talking about?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Um,
what I was doing after,
oh yeah.
yeah, after graduation. So yeah, yeah, no. So like 8 months. Then I found the job here, so I moved to Barcelona. Um, and yeah, man, it's been a good time. I mean, a lot of changes happened in my life. I think you remember my ex-girlfriend Lily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that didn't work out. I'm not gonna get into details, but that didn't work out because of distance, basically, because I was out here and she's back in Japan, time
Yeah.
difference and all that stuff. So yeah, so that was like a lot of big changes, and then being in a new city, meeting a bunch, well, not knowing anyone, in a new city, trying to find ways to make friends um, through basketball and through however else you make friends. I mean, going out a lot, I guess, because it's Barcelona is like a big party city.
Oh yeah.
But then, yeah, it was. I think the biggest, so the upside was that it's a really fun young city, bunch of stuff
Mm.
to do. There's the beach. It's sunny. It's a lot of fun. But then you also get into that struggle of, like I said, being new in a city where you don't know anyone, and not really feeling like you have that crew of friends.
Oh yeah.
It's
I'm in
like,
that situation right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, exactly. I mean, I'm sure where are you in? You're in LA?
I'm in San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
so no, keep no. Yeah, and so it's like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's just like, yeah, so I can go to this party and I'll talk to this person for 3 hours, but then, you're not gonna actually hang out with them in real life, or even with basketball. Like,
Mm.
I just go to the playground and play ball with a bunch of dudes, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll call you when you hang out, whatever, and then they never call you,
Yeah.
and and you're just kind of
And you
like,
can't be
damn, I
like,
miss my.
hey, you say you're gonna call me. You never called me. You can't
Exactly,
be a little bitch
exactly.
about it. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, you just hang out. Like sometimes, like the most depressing I think for me was like, because I was working all week, right? Like when it's a Friday night, and you got nothing to do, you got nobody to say, oh hey, let's go do this, let's go do that, and you just like end up having a shit time. But
Oh wait, so you were
mm,
so when did you when did you get back to Barcelona?
um, from
After
what?
graduation.
After
It's the
graduation.
summer, right?
Oh yeah, well no, Barcelona is where I moved right now. My mom's in another city in Spain.
Oh no, I mean after graduation, where did you
Yeah.
go? Barcelona, right?
After graduation, no, no, no. So after graduation, I traveled for a bit. Then I went to Vigo in Spain. Is where my mom is. So I
Mm.
was out there for 8 months.
Oh wait, time out. I see a tattoo, boy. Is that a
Oh
tattoo?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Dude, I didn't know you were tatted up.
I
Dude,
am tatted,
flex on
tatted
the
up, man.
camera for us.
All right, all right. Let's just do a little tattoo story thing. All right. So can you even see this, right? So I have this koi fish here.
Oh man, what's that about?
What's that about? Very simple. I mean, so I have like this weird. I had this weird obsession. Well, not obsession. I like aquariums a lot. And I
Yeah, they're
like
beautiful. Yeah. I mean,
you,
I
you,
mean, it's kind of
you know
random,
what
but
I
I
mean?
agree. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's fucking peaceful. It's amazing. And so I just remember going to Japan in year one, and we would visit these temples and stuff, and seeing kind of the koi fish swimming around, and that kind of stayed with me.
Oh yeah.
And so one day I was just like, let me look up the meaning of koi fish in Japanese culture.
Hmm.
And so basically, they're fish that swim against the current.
Oh wow,
So
I didn't know that.
because they swim against the current, they represent. Well, so the legend says they're so powerful and resilient they can swim up waterfalls, and so they represent persistence in the face of adversity.
Mm.
And yeah, and so I've been thinking about getting this tattoo for like a really long time, and then yeah, I was just like looking at tattoo artists, and then I think last year in like a Kobe, I was like, oh fuck it, let me do this. And so December last year, I got this one, the koi fish.
Man, it's
So
beautiful
that.
because well, I mean
Mm,
the placement of the tattoo really fits like well, I mean the shape and the placement really
yeah,
fits. I also really
exactly.
like how it's swimming like up your arm as opposed to like,
Exactly.
right?
That's exactly
That's like
why.
the upstream, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. All right, go
Exactly.
on.
So yeah, so that's the first one, and then we were talking about shoes earlier. I got this done in May.
No, legendary.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Jordan 1. And so this one is actually kind of funny too because so I was supposed to get it I think in March, like end of March, but COVID happened. And so I ended up having to get it in May. But in that time I actually watched The Last Dance. So it gave it gave the tattoo a lot more meaning
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, this one is just about like sneakers and basketball and Michael
Yeah.
Jordan being Michael
Kind of like your
Jordan.
first love.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. All my first loves kind of pushed into one. And then this is the most recent one. I got this one done.
I
Let's see.
can't see it.
Yeah,
Oh, a snake.
it's a
Snaky
snake.
snake.
So it's a ball python. So actually, just before quarantine, I was back in my my country of origin, Benin, in Africa. That's where my parents are from. Um, and so I got my grandma over there, my aunts and uncles, some cousins and stuff. And
Do you
so I
speak the
got back from.
language?
I don't speak the language now, but it used to be a French colony, so everybody speaks French
Mm,
over there.
mm.
So I can make myself understood. But my mom does speak the language. And so yeah, I really wanted to get something from over there. Because I felt like, well, I guess we can go into kind of a side story as well. But it's like, being being black and growing up around like in like white schools with a bunch of white people all the time, you kind of naturally reject that side of you. I'm
Dude, I
sure that
feel
if you
you. Cause
yeah.
I'm Taiwanese, right? I grew
Mm,
up in the States, but I spent first grade through fourth grade in Taiwan.
mm,
And when I
yeah.
came back to America, I didn't come straight back to California. I actually lived in Connecticut for 2 years.
Mm,
And
right.
Connecticut is a very white state.
Mm-hmm.
Like in our whole like elementary school, there was only one other Asian kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some Singaporean girl. And then yeah, her family ran a restaurant. Funny story. Like at that time I didn't like knew that like I liked girls. Like you know what I mean? It's
Mm,
like it wasn't into words for me.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
then there's this boy, Chris, and during like computer class, I was sitting next to Chris, and then next to Chris was let's call her Jay
Mm,
from Singapore. And then Chris was just like, hey, Jay, you know Eisen likes you, right? And like it's not like I even liked her, but like, like during elementary school, if anyone found out
yeah.
that you liked a girl, it was so
Of
embarrassing.
course.
So
It
I
was
got
the end of
super
the world.
embarrassed. Yeah, dude. But then during the recess after that class, she came up to me and she was like, hey, Eisen, do you want to be friends? But me being like the freaking socially awkward guy I am, I was like, no. And I walked away.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I can tell this is like stayed with you because you remember it so accurately. It must have been ages ago. You probably like have nightmares about this still, don't you?
Oh no, but actually it's a really funny story. There's like it's like a string of like awkward girl stories. And
Mm,
I can go on about this, but like the next story about this is
mm,
when I was back in California for middle
yeah.
school, there was this girl, let's call her E. And then E and we were in orchestra together, Orc Dorks.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, at that time I knew like I liked girls and yeah, she's like
Right.
kind of cute.
Mm,
Um, but I like because I wasn't so confident back then, like I was basically friend zoning myself.
right.
And because like I if I told her, well, how do I say? Part of it is because like I'm Taiwanese and like Asian culture, romance is the narrative for romance is a lot different compared to like
Mm,
European or American. Like European is
yeah.
like, yeah, I saw her at the club, she got that fat ass. But like in Asia, there's a movie called um You Are the Apple of My Eye. Have you
Oh,
ever
I have not
yeah,
seen that
it's a
one.
Taiwanese movie. It's pretty famous, but it's about this guy. He basically chases this girl throughout like 3 years of high school. And that's
Hmm.
kind of how like you're expected to approach this whole like romance thing in Asia.
Right,
Just
right,
stay
right.
quiet until like, like you're gonna depart and you write her like a love letter. But yeah, that was kind of like how I viewed romance at the time.
Beautiful.
But yeah. But friend zoning, yeah, because I didn't have the confidence um to basically confess. My only like strategy was to how do I say, like be friends, and
Yeah,
then
of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
But then
well,
you
and
get in
then
too deep and you can't get out the friend zone. Man,
well,
I've
even
been
beyond
there
that,
a
well,
bunch of times.
let me
Don't
finish my
worry.
story. But
Go ahead, go ahead.
so and then also as a kid, like I was a pretty nice kid. I didn't cause any trouble and whatnot. So like all the adults say like, "Oh, your kid is so mature. He's such a gentleman." And then being the gentleman that I am, you know, like
Mm,
I thought like, "Oh, I just help her carry her freaking violin case or help her do shit. Like she'll like me more." But I
mm,
mean, that's kind of besides the point because at the end of the middle school, we had like an unofficial prom, like prom for middle school.
uh-huh.
And then like, before prom, leading up to prom, everyone's like gossiping, like, oh yeah, did you hear like Aaron asked Jessica to the dance?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I didn't do anything. I just didn't ask anyone because probably in the
Mm,
back of my head, I just thought to myself, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get like turned down anyways. Why I'm gonna
of
ask.
course.
But
Yeah.
actually, so when I was with my acquaintances at the time in middle school. And then when the soul song came up, like I heard
Mm,
Emily talk to her group of like girlfriends. They're like, "Oh,
right.
should I dance with Eisen?" And guess what I did? I walked out of the gym.
Damn, bro. Man, it is what it is, man. We like honestly, it's funny that you say that because I've had like the same story like
Oh,
probably a thousand times because I was just kind of like you. It was just like my whole thing was like becoming friends and no, honestly just being too stressed out to honestly even today like I think things are better, but it's like it's hard to just like you're with somebody that you like and just be like, hey, I like you or whatever, because you're freaking out like especially when you're not sure if they're
mm,
interested or not.
yeah. When
Like
you
I,
know they like you, it's pretty easy. You just gotta set it up.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Like it's easy, but then when you don't know, that fear of rejection is just, I think still today,
Paralyzing, dude.
it really is. It really is, and you just don't do anything, and you friend zone yourself, and then you learn like 6 months later that she actually liked you, and you're like, why am I like this?
You're like kicking
But
yourself in the head. Yeah.
exactly.
You
Oh
got any
man.
funny stories of that? Mind to share one?
Ooh. Do I have any? I don't think I have any specific stories like that.
Okay, you don't have to share.
Unfortunately,
But I was trying to
I
tell
know.
you
I'm sorry.
so when I moved
Mm,
back to when I went to move back to America in Connecticut,
yeah.
there
Yeah.
was all these white kids and then you know how kids they just absorb the environment, right? So I
Yeah.
tried to replicate everything that they're doing like
Of course.
skateboarding, like even something minute like wearing flannels. To me
Mm-hmm.
that was like being American
Right.
and et cetera, et cetera. So, and then after those 2 years, I moved back to California. I remember I was with my brother and my mom and like a white lady friend of our mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then because we actually did a road trip from Connecticut and then all the way up to Maine and then down to like Toronto and then down to Utah and then back to
Right.
California.
Okay.
But we stopped along like Chinatown in one of the
Mm,
states. And then I remember like in Asia,
mm.
there's a Yakult, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember like I loved that shit as a kid, but like at
Mm.
that moment I kind of felt like I needed to reject my Asian side because like
Yeah.
I don't like living in America, it really is at the end of the day, it's a white man's like
Of course.
country. And
Absolutely.
ever since the day that I stepped foot, like when I came back to America, I always felt like the white guy was at top.
Right.
And yeah, in Hong Kong, definitely I don't feel that. But at least during the moment of when I was in Chinatown, I was like, no, I don't want Yakult.
Right.
And yeah, it was like a symbolic way of pushing away my
Mm-hmm.
Asian side. But yeah, obviously, I'm sure like you and I, we both went through the same process of like
Mm.
re welcoming that side of our identity. But yeah,
Exactly.
you were saying you went back to which country? Ben.
Yeah. So that's Benin. It's Benin. It's like a
And then
tiny country next to Nigeria, and so that's where my parents are from. But
oh,
yeah. So
is
basically,
it more south of Africa?
so you've got shit. Africa's like this.
Hmm.
It's like it's in the Gulf of Guinea. If that rings any bells. So it's
Like
like you're really
near New Zealand, that area. Or
no, 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 no.
wait, I fucked up.
No, no, no. New Zealand. That's somewhere
Cause
else.
cause
Wait,
I was
wait.
thinking of a famous fighter, but go on.
Yeah, so it's just I don't know. So I don't know if anybody can see, but like if I draw like that, and you've got basically you've got you know how you have this kind of you've
Yeah, yeah,
got this
yeah.
kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
like this in Africa. So it's
Like
like
on
it's
the
right
right.
there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Uh, yeah, it's just right there. So you got Nigeria that's really big. You can
I'll search
yeah,
it up later. Yeah.
you can search it up later. But yeah, and so I had been there plenty of times when I was younger, and actually this time was kind of special because it was my first time. It was actually my first time going back as an adult, actually, because
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't been about 8 years, um, actually,
Oh wait, where did you grow up? Like, did you grow up
like
in?
a bunch of places. So I was born in Paris in France, and then we lived in London for a bit, then Toronto for 2 years.
What? I didn't know you were
Back
in Toronto, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, I was Toronto
Yeah.
for 2 years. I was tiny. I was like 6, 7 years old. And then we went back to Paris for a year, and then we were in Brussels for about 10 years. But I was going to boarding school in north of France. Yeah, complicated.
Dude,
But
Mr.
then and then I went
Worldwide.
to Hong Kong, Mr. Worldwide, man. You know, Pitbull right here. Just gotta shave my head. Um, but yeah, there you go. You're the real Mr. Worldwide, bro.
Right here.
Where was I? Yeah, and so yeah, it was kind of it was. I mean, it was really how to say like when you're a kid, you know, you just go there and you just be a kid, right? But this time I got like you know a lot more curious about the history and all that stuff because, like I said, I'd been rejecting it for so long. And so now I think it's something that I'm a lot more proud of than before, and I'm like way more into like you know educating someone about my origin, about my country, especially
Mm,
because it's a tiny country that nobody ever knows about. So yeah, and so I really wanted to get back to the tattoo. I really wanted to get something that was back from there. And so when I was a kid and I went there, there's a city in Benin called Ouida where there's a Python temple. So you've got these kind of little huts that are just filled with these giant snakes. And so in this city, there's like a day every week where these snakes can just roam around free, and it's like completely accepted, which is a bit strange, but you know, you do
yeah,
you.
dude,
And
that's
so
wild.
yeah, it's crazy. And they're like huge fucking snakes, you know? And then it's like actually, so there's a king a bunch of years ago that actually made snakes the sacred animal um, to remind people to stay humble. Basically, by making the lowest, most like vile animal sacred, you know, you remind people that, you know, yeah, just be humble, take it easy, because the snake is better than you. The most
Dang,
vile thing is better than you. And yeah, so I like that message. I want something forbidden, so yeah, got the snake.
man, dude, that's a pretty interesting symbolicism.
Yeah.
But dude, don't aren't you like? I mean, doesn't that like detract you from like career prospects having it in like someplace more obvious?
Um, a lot of people have asked me about that. I don't think so. Well, this is my reasoning. Well, first of all, my skin is dark, so you actually can't see them
Mm-mm-mm.
that much. And then, well, right now you can see because I'm wearing a t-shirt. But if I were to go to a job interview, I'd probably
Mm,
have a long sleeve shirt on.
mm.
And I don't think they would show. I don't think I'd get tattoos on my hands. Um, and also, like, I think it's like a lot more accepted now as well to
Oh
have
yeah, true.
tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like here in Spain, actually, it's moving here that I felt like I needed to get one. Well, not like I needed to get one, but it made me want to get one because you walk around the street, everybody has tattoos. Everybody's got tattoos, like in their
Dang, dude.
necks and like showing on the hands, whatever. So yeah, I don't think it's as taboo as it was before. You know, we're like, well, you're not gonna get a job. People gonna think you're a gangster or some shit. No,
Mm.
I think it's cool, man. As long
It's
as
what
it's
the
not on your
cool kids
face.
do. Yeah, dude.
Exactly.
It's like
As
they
long as it's not
walk
on your
around.
face, you know, I think you're good to go. So if you're worried about getting a tattoo, don't you have a tattoo?
I do, man. I got one right here, and I
Yeah.
got like two letters right here.
I
Actually,
remember that.
I have an idea because it's kind of like what you said as well.
Mm,
Um, I identify a lot with like Cali culture. I identify a lot with Taiwanese culture. So I
right.
thought about like, because I have two letters right here, and when I take
Uh-huh.
my shirt off, basically, it looks kind of how do I say, um, like too plain. You get what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
be,
like it's missing something.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I've been thinking about chest tattoos a lot, and I really like wings, like wings of
Oh.
a bird or whatever.
Yeah. For
And
sure.
then so I was thinking about, this is just an idea, but I was thinking about writing like Cali Wan, like Taiwan Wan, So
Uh-huh.
Cali one, and then have like
Oh.
like wings, and then the wings will be the colors of each the geography. So yeah, another idea. So what,
What
for
do you mean
example,
the
like
geography? Yeah.
like the Californian flag is green,
So
white, and
green with
red
the bear, right? Yeah.
with the bear as well, with the grizzly bear,
Uh-huh.
and then Taiwan is like red, white, and blue, and then their flower is a sakura, like the
Uh-huh.
pink one.
Right.
And then so yeah, I was thinking about incorporating those colors. Actually, another really good idea. I kind of want to get
Mm.
it on the knees, like on top of the knee, because
Mm-hmm.
California state animal is a grizzly bear, right? And then
Right.
Taiwan's national animal is a black sun bear, the sun bear. So I think it would be really
Oh,
cool to like have something of like
that
a
would be fire. You should.
for sure.
I vote for I vote for the Bears 100%.
Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
fuck. Wait, hold up. I played music by accident. My bad, and we were back. Okay. Um, yeah, no, that's awesome. I really like animal tattoos actually. I would love to get another one, but I need to find a meaning. Fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, man,
Just
I
make up
can't
a
just
meaning,
do it.
dude.
I
Like
know,
you
that's
see
true.
this ant, it resembles durability.
Life, it's just life.
The
It's a
duality of
short
man.
life. Exactly.
Yeah. A bug's life, baby.
Exactly. Bug's Life, my favorite movie from Disney.
Fire.
Yeah, man. So yeah, tattoos. I don't even know where we were at when we
So yeah, let's
jumped into
move
the
on.
tattoos.
Oh, wait, fuck. We talked so much, so many side stories.
Yeah.
We were supposed to talk about basically from graduation till now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, those 8 months, then finding the job here, moving here, this whole new life kind of experience, a lot of changes. Um, but I think no, it's been a good experience. I mean, it's like I said, honestly, it's gonna sound like kind of cliche and cringy, but the koi fish tattoo, well now especially like it helps because it's like in those moments where you're just like, oh, this sucks, everything sucks. Even during like the quarantine, you get depressed being locked up at home all the time.
For
But
sure.
you just got to keep going. You got to stay
Mm,
positive. You got to keep going. Same thing with you right now and the job hunt. You just got to stay positive. I think no matter what, because if you feel like it's the shittiest moment right now, that means it can only get better. And
mm.
so, that's kind of been. I think well, I think we can get into that later, but that's something I learned like through the experience of being in Hong Kong, well, studying in Hong Kong, at least.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. Um, yeah, dude, I met you in 2014. I think the first time I saw you was on the
Mm,
basketball court. Do you
yes, and
remember when we first met?
I think I actually remember that. It was the
Yeah,
outdoor court, wasn't it?
outdoor court next to seafront.
Yeah.
You were hanging out with an exchange guy at the time. You two showed up together.
Yes. Was it Kyle? Was it some white American dude?
Yeah, some white ass
Yeah,
name.
that
Yeah,
makes
but
sense.
I remember thinking like, damn, this guy's fucking good at basketball. But yeah, um, so you
I wasn't even
graduated.
good back then.
Nah, dude. You graduated from high school in France.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
but mainly I guess you would identify yourself as European, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, I'll tell you I'm French, just because I was born there. But yeah, really, I don't feel like that's something else still. But yeah, like since you know through growing up through so many different places and whatever, there's no place that really feels like home. Like I wouldn't say, of course I'm French, that's the passport and whatever, but then don't really feel like I really have like home that's like one place in particular. I think that's why I just keep moving around anyways, because I get bored of one place really quickly and have to go to
Mm,
the next. Yeah.
damn, that's cool. But yeah,
Hmm.
so when you first got to Asia or Hong Kong, what was
Hmm.
your like impressions? Because for me, like I'm Taiwanese, I understand the
Yeah.
letters on the streets and
Hmm.
whatnot, but for you, it's pretty much apart from like the like maybe one third English culture in Hong Kong, like
Hmm.
the other two thirds are like completely foreign to you. So how was that whole process like?
Man, actually, that leads us to a pretty good story, I think. So, um, so after I finished high school, we did this whole like end of August, we did this grad trip with my friends from high school in Barcelona, actually, funnily enough, and now I'm back here. Um, but yeah, so we're in Barcelona, getting drunk all week, whatever, and then So I was supposed to get a flight back to Brussels, then get a day to pack my shit, and then I was moving to Hong Kong.
Oh wait, what made
But
you choose Hong Kong? Was it like,
yes, very good question. So actually, I wanted to go to Canada. I wanted to go to Montreal to McGill because it's cheaper for French people.
yeah.
Good business school. All my friends were going there. Um, but I didn't get into the business school.
Mm.
And before, when I was doing my applications, it was my mom actually that was like, check out Asia. It's the future, whatever. Just kind of moving over there. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so I just looked at the rankings, saw the best ranked school, I applied. And then, so when I got the McGill rejection, because UST is like higher ranked and everything, I was like, there's no way I'm getting it. But then, yeah, I got this conditional offer,
Mm.
and I was like, which was very stupid now that I think about it. But I was like, let me not accept any other offer and just bet everything on Hong Kong
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's kind of like a sign that I need to go there. And so I got in like barely. I had to write an appeal letter because I actually missed the conditional offer. Um, but yeah, so it was like actually completely random. It was like, shout out to my mom because she was just like, check out Asia. And I did. So yeah, that's actually why I went to Hong Kong. Actually, so
Mm.
yeah, there's no reason. It's
So I
just
guess
like,
it wasn't even like a choice. It was more like, well, this is my way out, so I'm gonna go there.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly. And it's like, I need to get out. Like I need to go far. I did 7 years in boarding school in France. It
Mm.
was just like I need to get the hell out of there. So that was the reasoning. And so yeah, so we're in Barcelona that week on holiday, and I was supposed to go back to Brussels, have a day to pack my stuff, and then move to Hong Kong. But I get to the airport. I hadn't slept. Barcelona is very touristy all year, but especially in August. So the airport is like packed, like this huge check-in line. And I'm just here waiting in line, kind of tired with my music in. I wasn't even drunk or anything, but I'm just waiting. I'm not really paying attention to what time it is. And at some point, I hear something about Brussels. Take the earphone out. Whatever. Put it back in. And then I hear last call for Brussels. I'm like, shit. So I run to the gate. Oh, I'm on the flight to Brussels, whatever. And the girl's
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry, it's closed. I'm like, nah, 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 nah. She's like, I'm sorry, it's closed. I'm like, no, no, no. You gotta be kidding me. Like, I need to get home. Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sorry, it's closed. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I call my mom. My mom is so upset she cries. I have to go to like the thing to replace the ticket, and they're telling me there's no flight until basically 24 hours from
yeah.
that moment.
Wait, this
And
is
my
you
mom's
trying
like,
to get to Hong Kong or
this is me trying to get to Brussels,
to
and
get
get
to
a day, like 2 days before moving to Hong Kong.
Wow, okay, go on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, so that happens. My mom's like, "Fuck you, you deserve this. I'm not getting you a hotel or anything." So I spent that day in the airport and then that night sleeping on my suitcase. And so I get to Brussels and I'm tired as fuck.
Yeah.
And I have to pack this giant suitcase to move to Hong Kong for 4 years, you know? Shit. And so, yeah, so I do all that. And then at night, obviously, I can't sleep because I'm moving to Hong Kong the next day and it's stressful. And then to add insult to injury, my mom had like messed up when booking my flights to Hong Kong and got me this flight that had a 12-hour layover in London, which means I left Brussels in the morning and I'm in London and I have to sit there for 12 hours.
Jeez.
Um,
So
I,
like,
I didn't,
yeah.
yeah, I didn't even have a phone or anything because my phone got stolen in Barcelona. I had
What?
this like tablet and there was only like 30 minutes of Wi-Fi.
And the Wi-Fi sucks ass.
The
You
Wi-Fi is
can't even
garbage. So
watch
like,
your NBA, dude.
exactly, you can't watch anything. You're just sitting there. I was sitting there like falling in and out of sleep on a fucking hard ass chair in Heathrow Airport for 12 fucking hours. And then I get on the flight and I've got 12 hours of flying to get to Hong Kong. And I get to Hong Kong and I mean, I basically haven't slept for 3 days, you know? And it was cold in Brussels, so I got these long pants on, hoodie, whatever. And you know how humid it is in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I'm out there sweating. Bro, I'm sweating like a motherfucker in there. Like
You got these
it's
short
spring.
ass people walking around you. Dude, because
Man,
was that one thing that surprised you how tall you were, like in Asia?
no, no. Okay, to be honest, it wasn't even with the people. It was more just like, I lived in Hall 3. Yeah, I think you
Mm.
lived in Hall 3 too in year
Yeah,
one.
yeah. We lived in
Like the sinks were super low. I feel like the sinks were really low. I don't know why
you
the
have to
sinks
tuck
like
your
kind of
head
slow.
under like the door
I tucked
frames
my
and
head to brush
whatnot.
my teeth and stuff. I was like, what the hell? Um, so yeah, I get to Hong Kong. It's raining. It's hot as fuck, and like I don't know. There was like some issues with my tuition or whatever. So I didn't have the student ID, I didn't have anything. I get to the room, it's really hot. I don't have any AC. I realized I hadn't prepared anything, so I've got no adapters to charge my shit. I just got nothing, and I'm just exhausted. And I get into this room. Were you also in the triple room? And
I was in triple room, yeah.
man, bro, I swear to God, bro, I got there and I was like, nah. I was like, I'm going home. Like this is, I'm going back home right now. It's not possible. Like, man, it was crazy because the thing is, I had done boarding school as well, right?
Mm,
And I had shared a room with two other people.
yeah.
But the room must have been 2-3 times the size of the room, the triple room in Hall 3, right? It was kind of nasty as well, kind of old and stuff. And yeah, so honestly, those first 2 days in Hong Kong were super rough because, that room sucked. I knew no one. I felt like,
Did you have roommates like when you moved in?
yeah. So I had just the one. There was this Korean dude that was there, and we talked a little bit. And then later I had this Indian roommate, but we were never really like friends.
Mm,
Um, and so yeah, the first few days I'm just like walking around campus trying to get food, whatever.
mm.
And I don't remember where it was. Like I was trying to get some sort of, Europeanish food because I was feeling like shit. And so I went to what do you call it? Is it Milano bread?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Milano
Yeah,
Fresh.
Milano Fresh.
And I get this pizza Milano Fresh. I'm like, bro, like, this is. I'm like, dude, I gotta get out of here. Like,
It's like
what's going on?
tiny. The
It's
dough is
tiny.
kind of weird.
There's corn inside for some reason. There's corn under the cheese. Man. Yeah. So that really sucked. Like the first 2 days, I actually several times I felt like calling my mom and be like, you know what, this was a mistake. I'm gonna go home. Like this not good. And then everything changed when I don't know if you came that day, but there was this kind of intro day to Hong Kong.
Mm,
Do you remember? I think you were there.
maybe.
Not sure. Yeah.
But what
And they
did
just
you do anything like
yeah. So they took us on this bus and
Big
we went
Buddha?
around Hong Kong. So went to Big Buddha. Yeah. So you were there. We went to
No,
Big
actually, I
Buddha.
didn't go to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mm,
So yeah, I went to that, and then that's when I met Ben. Well, Jay, if you remember Jay,
yeah.
yeah, Jay's the first guy to talk to me. And then through that I met Ben and Byung-won as well. So that was kind of like the crew to start with. And after that, you meet people, you have friends. It's everything's better. But
Oh
like,
man.
whew, yeah, that was rough because the culture shock was crazy. I didn't know anybody like it. Everything was so different. I felt like that's the worst part. I felt like people were looking at me strange,
What do
and
you
I was
mean?
like,
Yeah, that was my
oh no,
next question. Like, did you low
yeah.
key experience any like racism?
Well, that's the thing. So I was really worried about racism because I had well not really worried, but because I had actually been to
Like, it
Asia
was on
before, but
your
I
mind. Yeah.
exactly like it could be an issue, but it's nothing that's really like stopped me from doing anything before. So I was like I should be fine. Because actually the year before I'd been to Thailand in the summer and I had no issues with racism at all
Mm,
in Thailand, but Hong Kong's different. So I was like I don't know what I'm gonna get when I go there, and I think what happens is you're already having a bad time and you get kind of paranoid and whatever, and so it kind of, and also I think it's normal to get a because you don't there's not a lot of black people in Hong Kong, so people are going to look at you with kind of curiosity. It's not necessarily racism. So yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, those first few days I did feel like people were looking at me strange, but then no, not so much. There was like a few incidents, but most of them are funny. One being the I think you're laughing because you know where this is going probably,
I
but
don't, but go on.
you don't. Okay. So the first time was actually this. We had like business induction, so you'd have like a group leader and whatever, and the guy. So I was in this guy's group, and he's like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from France," and he was literally like confused. He was just like he thinks for a second. He's like, but why are you black? And I was like,
Yeah, why are you black?
he was like, why are you black? It's like, and the thing is, like, you can't even be like, you can only laugh at that kind of stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not even offensive. It's just funny.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then there was like another incident. I think that was just, I don't know the guy. I think the guy was trying to be funny. I'm not gonna name him, but some dude from Singapore, um, asked me several times. Well, no, during that same business induction, actually, what did he say? At some point, he asked me. He was like, "So what's it like?" I was like, what? And it was like being black, and I was like, are you fucking like, was like, you crazy? Like, you know, I was like, I would, if I was any more violent, I would probably have punched him in the face. And then another time we're in LKF, and the same guy goes, why do black people love chicken so much? And like I actually got angry that time. I was like, because I was drunk and shit. I was like angry and shit. And like Ben was like, oh, just leave it, whatever, whatever. So that was just the kind of, I know it's actually funny, but like I couldn't tell if he was trying to make a joke or if he, man, but that's the thing. You have stupid fucking people everywhere,
Dude,
and
I'm
that's
about to
just part of the
cry right here,
experience.
man.
I know. It's the dumbest shit ever.
Wait, actually, now that you
It's
mentioned it, I do remember you telling the story.
yeah. So yeah, that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, apart from that, no, not really. Honestly, I mean, I guess it depends what you can call racism. I guess, you
Hmm.
know, me getting like 4 fouls a game whenever I would play any basketball
Yeah,
probably
dude,
has
you
something to
got
do
heated
with
during
that.
those games.
Because it was, man, yeah. Well, because you know I can't control my temper when I'm playing basketball, but the refs were fucked up every single time. So
And
that
I know
sucked.
what game you're
But
talking about. I was there.
yeah, exactly. Where we got robbed. Yeah.
Dude, man, you were really about to strangle that
Bro.
chubby guy, man. you you were about to commit some acts of violence.
This motherfucker. Yeah, I know. I mean, I think like if you know me, you've probably never seen me this angry ever for
Mm,
anything ever. Yeah, no, that just sucked. Like, and it was also like, you know, we did 4 years of econ basketball.
mm,
Every year is the same bullshit. And that's the thing.
mm.
I like winning, man. Like I don't like losing. That's the whole thing. And I like losing if we're getting robbed by the refs as well. So yeah, I just got like super angry, kicked out of the
Man,
game. But yeah, fuck, it
yeah.
is what it is.
So we did 1 year, and I talked about my first year a little bit in my first
Mm,
podcast. And
yeah.
yeah, you dude, I said to Sana the other day, man, I'm really
Mm,
appreciative of my day one friends, cause like just how weird I was back then, for you
mm,
guys to still I guess even just like tolerate me was it's kind of like my own saving grace, just meeting those people. Yeah.
I
But
wouldn't say tolerate. I mean, it was never like, you know.
no, I did some pretty wacky shit. But yeah, so we got through our first year, and then I think we
Mm,
started hanging out more in second year because we got into the
yeah,
same like friend circle, with like
yeah.
Ben, Justin, Judy, Lily, etc.,
Mm,
etc. But it's always, I guess it's like kind of funny, like when I look back at it now, because
mm,
we probably spent many hours together. Like we even went to Shenzhen, dude. That was fun.
that's true. That
Yeah.
was really fun.
But like I always just knew you from like arm's distance. Part of it is just because like logistics, right? Like even because we
Yeah.
had such a big group, there was like naturally like subgroups that form.
Mm-hmm.
But also
Yeah.
part of it, now that I look back, is just, I mean, like it's like my own like little neurotic brain running sometimes, just
Mm-hmm.
blocks me from like actually getting to know people.
Yeah.
But do you remember this one incident? Not incident, but like funny story. You, me, and
Yeah.
Justin, we smoked up, and then we were playing 2K in your room.
Yes. I
Yeah,
remember that.
dude. And then for some, I think for me, when I don't know if you feel this, but I get super like sensitive and paranoid when I'm
Yeah.
on the grass. But like
Uh-huh.
I remember feeling tired. So, and then I didn't want to lay on your bed just out of like cut like I didn't want to spread my dirt
Yeah.
onto
Yeah.
your bed. So I just
Yeah.
laid down on the ground, and you just asked me like, dude, are you okay?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember this?
I don't remember asking you that at all.
But funny story from that moment. Like this is how weird my mind gets when I'm on weed. But like I was laying down, and now I'm thinking to like myself, like this actually feels pretty good. And I started
Uh,
thinking about how like dead people, when they're in coffins, you don't put them on like a soft mattress.
yeah.
You put them on like wood, and then
Yeah.
that's when they finally get to um
And
lay at
actually
rest.
rest.
Yeah, so I started thinking, it's like, why don't I just start sleeping on the floor? So funnily, from that moment, it made me research into sleeping on the floor or like hard surfaces,
Uh-huh.
and I've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
doing that for like a long time now. You should try it sometime. It's like it really
That's crazy.
straightens your spine.
You're back, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Shit.
that just kind of like a funny story to show you how like out of this
Yeah.
world my mind
Yeah.
gets
Yeah. Yeah.
when I'm
That's
on the
crazy, dude.
yeah. I mean, does that happen to you, or does that happen to everyone, or is it just me?
On the when I'm on weed, I don't know. I mean, these days I kind of smoke weed to just like relax. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that you said that your mind goes to crazy places, because I kind of use it more to turn the brain off. You know,
Oh,
it's
interesting.
like, yeah, because it's like I'm always thinking about a million things at the same time, and when I smoke, it's just like it's really relaxing because all of a sudden, you kind of hear my mind kind of quiet down, and like not
You
shut
zen
down. I can
out.
still think, I can still do things, but yeah, just zen the fuck out, and I can just focus on, let me get to sleep. So yeah, no, I don't. And it's funny because I feel like I've had this conversation with so many people about weed and stuff, and like everybody just has that like specific different experience and that specific feeling. But I think for me, it also depends who I'm with, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's moments where I hate, for example, smoking in large groups of people I don't know.
Oh, dude, let me tell you a
You
funny
you
story.
you had a story
I
like
told
that
it.
on the
Yeah, yeah.
first on the first podcast.
Yeah, when I first got into
Damn.
university, during high school, I smoked quite a lot. But like some sophomore invited me to their room. It
Yeah.
was all like our frat, the frat in our school. It was
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of them, and then they were just passing a joint around in a circle. And then I was like, yeah, sure. And then yeah, I just stood up, looked at myself in the mirror while all of them were like talking in the room, like
Mm,
behind my back. Well, not like behind, not like talking
yeah.
behind my back, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
literally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I started like looking at myself in the mirror, and I started making these weird faces. Like, dude, I gotta get the fuck out of this room, man. Yeah, so I feel you on that.
But that's pretty funny. I think I have a with those same people. I think I smoked. Like, I have a really bad experience of smoking in a large group. Where I think those same people, and it's the same thing. It's just like I'm
The problem
here
is
and
them,
like,
not us, dude.
yeah, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Nah, but like, yeah, it's just like I don't know any of these people. Like, it's just so uncomfortable, and you're just stressed out, especially because you talked about social anxiety a lot.
Mm,
And I think like maybe mine's like not too bad, but I do overthink a lot of shit,
mm.
and
I
it does
think
stress me out. Like,
because I think you and I are both like relatively more sensitive people. Like you're pretty attuned to like how other people are feeling, right? You
yeah,
don't want
yeah,
to
yeah,
disturb like the equilibrium like around you. So yeah.
exactly. So yeah, man. So then when you start getting into that like overthinking mode and you're on weed and there's people you don't know, it's just you're just not having a good time. And I'll usually just sit there and not say a word and
Oh,
just
dude.
be in my head.
And
But
then
yeah, you
people
know the feeling.
ask you like, "Are you okay?" Then you start thinking, "Oh no, like they think I'm not
Like,
okay, so I
do I
gotta."
do I look weird? Like, now I gotta pretend
Yeah,
like I'm okay, and now I gotta talk and like
yeah,
smile and shit. Man,
dude.
ah,
Okay, so you like low key get what I mean,
oh,
but yeah,
totally, totally. Yeah.
um, but yeah. So I kind of this kind of leads us to like what I really want to talk about in this podcast, because
Mm,
after I released the first episode, yeah, I got a
yeah.
few replies, but you were the first one to reach out and say like, dude, like, well, you said I appreciate your words. You said this is really brave of you to put out, and you
Mm,
volunteered yourself as to be a guest. So you were my
yeah.
first like unofficial guest pretty much. And you
Yeah.
said like some of it resonated with you. So I wanted to ask you like what parts of that first podcast um you know struck a chord with you.
Okay. So yeah, yeah. No, first of all, really brave because you talk about all that personal shit on there, and you're also by yourself on that first one. I don't think I, I don't think I would ever be able to. I mean, I'm here doing it, I guess, but like, I don't think I'd ever like if I were to start something, it wouldn't be a podcast.
Mm,
And before I get to answering your question, for example, like with the whole film thing, um, just creating the Instagram account like 2 years ago at this, or yeah, 2 years ago was like super stressful for me because it's like I really don't like attracting attention. You know what I mean?
mm.
To myself and stuff, and so,
Or like
but
you
then
only like it when it's like with people you know. Because
yeah, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Like, yeah, if I'm with people I know, a small group of people I know, then it's okay. Like, I can talk, I can make jokes, whatever. But then, yeah, like I don't really like broadcasting that whole stuff. It's like an aspect of social media that I really don't like.
Mm,
Um, but then at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm taking these photos. I got to share them some way. So that was super stressful, just creating that. And now more recently with the website was also super stressful. So that's why I said it's really brave because I know it was like hard for me to create an account and then to create a website and even to go even further and be like, I'm selling this stuff. Because even today, I still feel like, I'm not a professional. I didn't study photography. I'm not everything. Why would anybody pay for a print of my photos, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was why. And then no, the part that resonated with me the most was how you spoke about um your struggle. Well, no, firstly, it's when you come. Well, yeah, your struggles during first year or second year, whatever, of going to UST and first of all feeling fucking dumb. Yeah, feeling dumb and like really stupid and like maybe I'm not good at school or something, or like I don't understand anything because I came from high school and I didn't do shit in high school and I had like really good grades. Like it was easy, everything made sense. And I come here and I'm taking these. Like, I'm not good with numbers. I'm taking this. I'm failing this math class in the first semester. I don't understand what the hell is going on with these econ and accounting and whatever and whatever. And I basically just got into this circle of like I regret coming here.
Oh,
These classes are not interesting. And at the same time I was seeing my friends that were like in Canada or in the UK,
yeah.
and they're just getting drunk, they're just having a good time and everything.
Mm.
Like of course I'm also having a good time, but at the same time my
Like grass is
GPA
always
is
greener on the other side.
that too, of course, but then
Yeah,
yeah, and so
your
it was like
GPA.
yeah, the GPA is like going down as well. And so it was also like I actually considered like several times um just not dropping out, but like transferring, saying okay, let me
Oh
just go to
yeah.
the UK or let me go to Canada and stuff. But I think the only thing that stopped me from doing that was just that I felt like my mom would be disappointed,
Mm.
and I just yeah didn't want to disappoint her. So I was like, let's get through, because in business you do this 2 first years and then you can choose your major and
Hmm.
things are supposed to get better. So I was like, let's get through those 2 years and whatever. But it was really like a struggle to just be like, because it wasn't even like, obviously I wasn't working super hard either, but I think that was also because I wasn't interested in any of the classes. And there were classes like the math class, for example. It was like, because obviously I know that to a certain extent hard work pays off, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But then that math class, it was like, with the background, with the math background I had coming from the French system, like I could study all day. I wasn't going to get a good grade at that exam.
Yeah.
And that's just so frustrating, and it's just really defeating. And also I didn't also and at the same time it was also like, and maybe I'm wrong, but it was like I don't want to spend my days at the library. I don't want to spend my weekends in the library. Like I came all the way to Hong Kong just to fucking sit down in the library all the time. So yeah, so that sucked. I think for 2 years it was really like a bad time. And also because so you mentioned that I was always artsy, but I used to be really into cinema, into movies, and I wanted to be a film director since I was like 11 years old. And I had actually applied to do film studies in Canada, and I was actually going to go through with it. But you need a portfolio, and so I started thinking about, well, let me make a short film, whatever, blah,
Mm.
blah. But I had no knowledge, I had no camera, I had no nothing. And so you get lazy and you get nervous and you're like, "Ah, I'm not going to have a job after I do this and my mom's going to be disappointed." So, um, yeah, I didn't do that. I went for business, which was, I guess, would open more doors. And I really, really, really regretted during those 2 years not going the creative route because I was I just kind of felt stuck, going to these classes that I don't care about,
Mm.
and struggling on top of that, you're struggling, you're not getting the good grades. And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't even like what I'm doing. Like, why the fuck did I not just go to film school or whatever? So yeah, that really sucked. But, you learn
But
to make
yeah,
like the most of it eventually, I think.
it's a weird negative cycle that you get in, right? It's like because
Exactly.
you already come in and it's like not smooth sailing as you thought. So
Hmm.
then you start thinking it's like, oh, dude, I had all this potential to be, for me, I wanted to make like, you know, short videos or like music, whatever.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like these are things that genuinely excite me.
Mm.
And then on top of that, I'm not doing as well, like I'm not doing great in these courses. And then that reinforces the belief that, dude, I really don't care about these courses. So then just boom, like starts like slipping.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't care. So I'm not studying, but like I got bad grades. Oh, my grades are already fucked. So let me not even study. And like, it's
Yeah.
just, it's all bad. So yeah, like that's really the stuff that like caught me, because it's funny also because I actually had also because I had no idea you were going through all this stuff. the first year. I guess because of what you said, that we always knew each other kind of from afar as well. But then, yeah, it's kind of funny because we, in a way, share the same struggle. And yeah, I had no idea at the very
Yeah,
least.
like the silent struggle.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
I
exactly.
guess so then at what point did you kind of did was there ever a point during your university that you kind of
Mm.
realized, oh dude, I gotta get through this? And I mean, did things ever start going up for you?
Yeah, I'd say probably like middle to like end that second year. I think third year. Well, first of all, things got better because got to choose the major, and I got into marketing. And, classes weren't perfect either, but I was done with all the math bullshit,
Mm.
so that helped.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was really nice. And also it was like, because the thing is, at that point, after those 2 years, when you fuck up your GPA, like I fucked up my GPA, it's kind of hard to get it out of the mud.
Did you ever
So
get academic probation?
no, I didn't. But I got that letter after failing math the first time. Like,
Oh,
if you
okay.
fail a second time, you're out of the school.
Same here, buddy.
And I was terrified, man. I was like, fuck, if I get kicked out of the school, my mom is gonna murder me. And I'm not about that. So yeah, that shit was fucking stressful. I remember like the day before the final exam, taking it the second time, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't
Oh,
sleep.
dude,
I
yeah,
drank a bunch of coffee. Like, I was stressed out. Like, I was
yeah.
fucking stressed out. And in the end, I only passed with like 23%. You know what I mean? So like, that shit was just that shit was too stressful. I never
Yeah,
want to
man.
make. I don't want to see anybody go through that stuff ever again. But yeah, so no, I think it got better when I got to that third year, and it was like, well, okay, my GPA is fucked, but at least it's gonna get a bit better now because the classes make sense to me. And then it was like, you know what, like, fuck it, just also when I realized that I could get internships, and also like I know that I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, these grades don't matter that much in the end. You know what I mean? And but it's not the thing. It's not like I stopped working, but it's also like I'm not gonna spend my life in the library trying to get my GPA as high as I can, because I realized that, well, my GPA is trash, but I can still get an internship. I still got an internship at the NBA. I can still do this, do this, do this, and I focused on basketball, especially after I think after year one, my first summer in Stockholm, I couldn't shoot threes before I went to UST. Um, and that summer it was just like, well, same thing. I'm in Stockholm. I don't know anybody there.
Yeah.
It's warm, so I'm at the basketball court every single day shooting threes. And yeah, I just got better at basketball. I got more serious about basketball. Like the first year, I would go to LKF on Friday and
Mm.
play a game on Saturday.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, obviously, you're gonna play like trash.
Yeah.
Um, but like, no, I got serious about it. I was like, okay, now if I got a game, I'm not gonna drink the day before. I'm gonna practice hard. I'm gonna play a lot of basketball. So yeah, it was like basketball and also like traveling. Tried to, I'm in Asia. Fuck it, let's see something. So I did like a bunch of trips. Went to Taiwan. With Lily, we traveled a lot as well. I went to Bali. Went to like
Hmm.
Shanghai a few times. Like, so I was like, at the end of the day, can I leave this? I want to have like some good memories
Yeah.
also. So it was more like, yeah, let's just discover the place, try new foods, see different countries, focus on the basketball, get good, actually good at the basketball, and fuck the grades, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that much, I think.
So it seems to me like it's a matter of you were at some point at first when you were in this situation you really wanted to
Mm,
bolt, you want to get out of it, but after
yeah.
kind of being stuck between a hard place and a hard rock, you were like,
Mm,
oh well, I might as well make the most out of this situation, right?
exactly. Yeah, that's what it was. It was like, well, you're in too deep now. You've done 2 years. Like, there's no. I'm not gonna be sad for 4 years. Like, that's just stupid. So let's
Yeah, yeah.
just, yeah, make the most out of it. And I think, at the end of the day, like now that it's all over, like looking back, um, like first of all, I'm really happy I went to Hong Kong, um, because yes, it sucked in a lot of ways, but then it was also really good in like so many ways. Like the whole basketball experience, for example, was really like incredible for me. I think because it was like it gave me a way of like actually knowing local people, because how when you're an
Yeah,
international student, you know
we just
we
stick
just
to
hang
the
out.
internationals. Yeah.
Exactly, you just hang out with the internationals, and you can't get into the societies or anything, and so through that I really got like those connections. And then yeah, just like playing those games. Went to Macau with the team, like playing those Jordan things. I mean, I played basketball with Russell Westbrook. Like,
Dude,
what
that
the
was
fuck, man?
amazing. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it's yeah, and like and that kind of thing, I feel like can only happen in Hong Kong because it's such a small place, and it's
exactly. Yeah,
so yeah, like in the end, there's like a lot of good things. And when I look at my friends that went to the UK or went to Canada, um, yeah, sure, they had a great time and their grades are all a lot better than mine were. But then what happens is you go to places where there's a bunch of French people and people from your school, and naturally you just kind of tend to hang out with them or to stick with French people and whatever. And I mean, now I've got friends in, all over Asia and all over the
yeah,
world. And so I think those like that kind of cultural awakening and making those friendships and those connections is like so much more valuable than any grade or any
yeah.
what university is supposed to be about, I guess.
I
Learning.
see. For me, I've always I have this funny thought. So for me, I'm Asian American, right? So I'm
Hmm.
Taiwanese, but I grew up. I'm pretty much more American. And
Yeah.
then when these Asian Americans come over to UST for exchange, I
Hmm.
always kind of had this feeling that they're still a little different from like me or Justin, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because like
Sure.
it's like for me and Justin, we spend time in the US, but also spend time in Asia. So it's
For
like
sure.
almost like another layer of like, how do I say, like fourth culture? You know how people
Yeah, yeah,
third
yeah, yeah.
culture, right? So it's like
Hmm.
another layer on top of that. There's like a fourth culture. So it's kind of, maybe it's like this kind of the same thing as you, when if you had even if you were with your French buddies in another country, it's like there's
Hmm.
still that, at the end of the day you still got more points of view by coming to Hong Kong.
Exactly. No, no, exactly, exactly. I mean, there's yeah. I saw this whole side of the world that they don't know about, and at the end of the day, it's that's the thing. Is that because the thing that's the thing. If you go from let's say Paris and you move to Montreal or to I don't know New York, yeah, it's different, but not really. It's still a white ass. Forgive my language. It's still a white ass place,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's still got very like European/American vibes, right? But you go to somewhere like Hong Kong, and that's when it's actually different. Like the way you eat, the things you do, like the people you talk to. That's like the real cultural difference. And I think that's what's like really interesting. And funnily enough, I didn't think I would. I was telling you that the other day, but I actually really miss Hong Kong right now. Like I'd love to go back
oh
because
yeah.
there's just nothing like it.
Mm, mm,
Nothing like it.
I feel you, man. Yeah, dude, I think, it's funny when I think back to our like first, maybe first 3 years of university.
Mm,
Dude, we went out so much,
yeah,
like way
yeah,
too much, beyond like a
way too
healthy
much.
degree.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
That's where all my money was going. I was getting like unreasonably drunk. I mean, yeah, I don't, man,
Do
yeah,
you think
just
like part of the
unreasonably drunk.
reason why we did that was because like now that I know that you were kind of going through the same
Mm,
struggles that I was, at
mm.
least for me, now that I think back, like alcohol was a way for me to silence that out. It's like a way for
Yeah,
me to not think.
absolutely. No, I think for sure because yeah, you go out, you get drunk, you don't remember anything the next day, and you don't have to think about how you're failing all your classes
Yeah,
for
yeah.
for
Exactly.
2 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, and you're also trying to have like, and I think for me it was also kind of a way of telling myself that I'm having the university experience
Mm. So
that
you just
maybe my
forced
friends
it.
are well, not necessarily fortunate because I think it was always a good time, but I
Right,
definitely
right,
did
right.
it way too often. Like I would never go out as often right now, and I still love going out, going to clubs and shit.
For sure,
But
yeah.
like, I think in Hong Kong it's different as well because at the end of the day, when we went out, what do we do? We go to play, listen to the same fucking songs every like 2 nights in a row sometimes.
Dude.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's
we
not a good club experience. You know what I'm saying? Like it's actually it's even kind of trash. Like
because we always go to the same club. It's like either play or levels. Once in a
exactly.
blue moon, it's like we go to fly or whatever.
Yeah,
But it's always the same fucking DJ, the same
same
fucking
shit.
Pitbull song.
Exactly. The same
I'm
people in the
getting
club too.
timber.
Yeah, exactly. You're hitting timber like 4 times a week at this point, but you're still going back, and it's like, what the fuck am I like? Like, there's no point where you go like, damn, what the fuck am I doing here? Because like, now I go to a club and it's like, I mean, here like a big techno scene, so I kind of like techno now that I'm here in Barcelona. And so you'll go to listen to music, you know. You'll go to, of course you're gonna get drunk, but you're gonna enjoy the music. But I mean, we went to Hong Kong like 4 years ago, going to the same fucking club, you know.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dude, how do we
But
do that?
who fucking knows? Good times though, man. Good
Oh yeah,
times.
no, like we even
Good
though like we
times.
just kind of trashed on that whole experience, there was
Yeah,
some
yeah.
there's always like memories that you can,
Of course.
laugh about like 4, 5, 6, years later.
For sure, for sure, for sure. No, I feel like we should have some a reunion sometime. Talk about all the weird shit that we got up to back
Dude,
then.
that'd be lit. Dude, I remember one time I was so drunk and like I would never do this while I was sober.
Mm.
Well, actually, there's a lot of things that I did I thought I would never do while sober, but for this one incident, um, I was the 7-Eleven on the other side. Like there's a
Yes.
main 7-Eleven and there's a one
Yeah, yeah,
across.
yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
and then if you go walk down the hill, there's like some bars on the left. So on one of the bars, I saw this like black lady. She was sitting by herself on like a circular table, just drinking
Mm-hmm.
wine. So I was like, what the fuck is she doing? So I walk up, I take the wine glass,
Oh.
pretend to like be a snob, like,
Oh my God.
and then like I take a sip out of it. I look at her in the eye. I put it back on the table, and then well, I mean, the good thing is that she laughed, and I just walked away. And so,
Jesus Christ. What the? What were you? What were you? What were you thinking? Like, what was the? Was
that's
there
one.
anything going on?
That's one thing I realized about myself is I always try to make myself laugh. You know,
You're right.
yeah,
No, no. And actually, that's funny. I was thinking about that today, because I feel like because I tell you how I feel kind of like socially anxious a lot, and I overthink a lot of interactions. Um, but I feel like I mean I usually make a lot of jokes, I think, and even now I feel like I've ascended to the level where I can make jokes to strangers, and I feel like that I kind of use that as a defense mechanism to like not feel so awkward about a situation. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? Like you make a joke, the person laughs, and you're like, okay, this is going better.
well, I mean, what else do you do, right?
Yeah, no, no, no. Of course, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, no, yeah. You
No,
can't.
no, but I feel you. I mean, like, if someone laughs at your joke, I mean, you're sharing vibes. That's what it's
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
about. Yeah, the funny thing is when I first entered university, like in high school, I kind of talked about it, but in high school, I was such a pseudo fake ass philosopher. Like me and my
Mhm.
buddy Rain, we would just go to his apartment and smoke up and talk about like ideas.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was like I thought I was the smartest guy in the whole world. So when I went into university, I was like, dude, people are so fake. I want to learn. I want to have real conversations. So like I would,
yeah. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. That's
but
the thing. That's
what were you gonna say?
no, no. I think that's so funny because like you go to university thinking like, oh, I'm out of high school. Let me do all this like crazy shit and whatever. But you realize that you've got so much to learn.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
you've got so much to learn. But yeah, go on with your story about real conversation. I
Oh,
want to
what
hear
was I
that.
saying? So like I would be super awkward because it's like it's like part of me knows it's wrong to just go up to a stranger and be like, "What's your life goal? What's your deepest darkest insecurity?" But like
I like how you say part of you thinks it's knows it's wrong, but let me do this shit anyways,
no, no,
man.
no, but exactly. So in my mind, in my state of mind, like in first year, I was watching like certain videos that really motivated me to
Mm,
so-called not give a single F. And then
right.
now that I think back, I did have a lot of fun in my first year, even though like
Yeah.
90% of it was very cringy, but it
Mm.
was a very experimentative time of my life. So yeah, what was
But I mean, I gotta say though, I gotta respect that, because like people that you can just, because like, yeah, you know something's weird or it's cringy or it's whatever, but you're still gonna go up and try it. Like
yeah,
I
dude.
would never. Like I'm too. I think now less, but before I was like just really careful about that stuff. I'd be really careful not to say anything weird, not to say anything cringy, not to say anything awkward, because I feel like, yeah, I'd just be scared of what people would think and whatever. And I think that's something I'm still like working on, but now it's gotten a lot better.
Oh man.
And that's why I think I'm able to, talk on this podcast, for example.
Oh
Because it's
yeah.
something I would that's something I would never have been able to do back in year one for sure.
You know what? I think I yesterday I thought of a good metaphor. I think it's kind of like riding a bike. And once you learn how to ride your bike, the next step for me was like learn how to ride without handlebars, right? So at least when I was learning trying to do that, before I went to Shanghai for high school, I actually did a year in Taiwan, and I would ride the bike to school every day, right? And then just throughout, because I was doing it so much, I would start by like letting go of my right hand and using only left hand, and then
Mm,
like using right hand, letting go of the left hand, and slowly just putting my fingertips on the
yeah,
bar, right?
yeah,
And then by the after like a month or like whatever, dude, I could, make turns without, no handlebars. I would like
right.
straight up go from all the way from my house to the school without ever touching the
No
handlebar.
handlebars.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I think that's kind of like it's kind of a rush because like when socializing, it's like when you when you act like I'm at the point now where like
Mm,
riding a bike without handlebars or like
yeah,
socializing is like second nature to me, where
right.
like I'll say something like pretty awkward, and in the back of my mind I know it's like kind of awkward or like it might not
Mm-mm.
land, but I've
Yeah,
already
yeah.
started saying it, so I can't like retract. And then if they like react in a funny way, they're like, what, you gotta like double down on that shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You can't go away. But now you're confident with it, so it's like, so it's cool. Like that's the thing.
yeah.
You also have to get comfortable with the awkwardness. Because
Oh
like
yeah.
I know shit is gonna be awkward. You gotta get comfortable with like uncomfortable silences and stuff, and like realize that it's okay for shit to be awkward. Like everybody's awkward, and also, I think the most important thing is that because I'm always so worried about what people are thinking and shit. But like most shit, people don't even notice.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. You know, you'll be
Well,
really
actually,
like worried about something or something, but people will most of the time people won't even pay attention to anything. I realize.
I
I
kind of
think.
agree, but also like at least for me, I feel like I'm, relatively more perceptive than the
Hmm.
average. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes I could just see through people though. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah. 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 Me too. And I think that's why I'm so worried about what people think because
You
for
know, like,
like you said exactly.
yeah,
I'm always and I think that's why I try to shut the brain off sometimes because I'm just if I'm talking to someone, I'm looking at what they're doing, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, I'm looking at what they're wearing, I'm looking at their shoes, I'm looking at their jeans, I'm looking at how they're reacting to what I'm saying, and so I'm here like whatever, whatever, whatever. But then I think the average person is not even just talking, like they're
yeah,
just talking.
dude,
They're not thinking about all that stuff. But then yeah, when you do it yourself, then you feel like other people are doing it, and so you stress out about that stuff a lot.
man. Maybe it's kind of like driving. Like, do you drive?
Yeah, I can drive since November. Shout out to
Yeah.
myself.
So for me, congratulations.
Thank
But
you.
when I was first learning how to drive,
Yeah.
you know how there's rules, right? Like in the US, it's like, oh,
Mm.
right of way if you're going straight.
Yeah.
There's certain um like you eventually when I first started driving, I was taking in everything. Like this car that's slowly coming up on the right, this
Mhm.
guy who's like standing on the other side of the
Yeah,
street,
yeah, yeah.
take everything in, try to calculate it, and then what just happens is like you get paralyzed by all this sensory and information
For sure.
overload.
For
But
sure.
then after you start learning like the rules of the road, so to say,
Mm.
you only look at what you're supposed to look at. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Mhm.
maybe it's kind of like that for socializing. Like
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
general do's and don'ts of socializing, and you just have to follow that line. And
Yeah.
man, just let everything else.
Yeah, exactly. It probably just takes a lot longer than driving to get used to, but to get good at, to get perfect at, I guess.
That's a
But
funny thing I've thought about because
mm,
I think driving is a bad example because the repercussions of driving badly is pretty severe.
yes,
But
that's true.
let's say you're trying to learn how to play poker and you're only betting.
Mm.
Like we played so much poker in university. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Why did we play so much poker, dude? Was it just from like burnout
It
of going
was well.
out?
So I think Ben and Shania have gambling issues. Um, no, I'm joking, but like, yeah, they were just really into that stuff, and so they kind of sucked us into the poker craze. I'd
But yeah,
say.
let's say you're learning how to play poker and then, dude, you might like blow your load on the first hand and then like
Mm,
you walk and then you have to like awkwardly watch the rest of your
that's
friends.
what she said.
Yes. Pause.
Pause.
um, But yeah, and then you have
Yeah,
to like
yeah. Keep
awkwardly
going.
watch your friends, but the repercussions at the end of the day isn't that great. So like, you know, you're still, even though you lose your money on the first hand, you're still willing to, oh, tomorrow night, you up? Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
That's
I
true.
mean, you down? Yeah, I'm down. You up? Yeah, I'm up.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird how that works.
It works. It works. It
Yeah.
works. That's
But
true.
with people, it's so paralyzing because if you fuck up with this person, let's say like
Like,
girl A is gonna tell her girlfriend B that like, oh yeah, Aizen's kind of weird, you know. So then,
true, true, true.
man, it just yeah, that's something that I really thought about for hours and what read so
Mm,
much, watched videos all
yeah.
about this shit. But yeah, man, I got another funny story. So I was once again pretty drunk in OKF, and
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy was walking behind me. So
Okay.
I see this like really tall girl. Who's like really pretty as well. So I just walk up to her. It's like, wow, you're really pretty. She's like, oh, thanks. And we got to talking a bit, and then and then somehow I forgot how she brought it up, but she brought up like her boobs are fake, right? And then
Okay.
so yeah, it was just the conversation naturally went to that part. It
Right,
wasn't
right,
like
right,
too
right.
awkward. But like I don't know why I did it, but I just like booped. I just booped.
Jesus
And
Christ.
then for a brief second, the girl just looked at me. She was like, "Did this fucker seriously just do that?" But then I think like once again, like this is like a good example of like how you can sometimes do risky shit. Like I don't recommend it, but she at the end she still like laughed about it, you know. Yeah.
Damn. I
But
would never try that, but props. Props, man. Damn, that's crazy.
but yeah, you know, like at least for me, I've started to enjoy the risk and rush of socializing. Like
hmm
obviously I don't recommend doing that every
No, no, no,
day,
for
but
sure.
like take
But no,
little
no, but I mean,
risks.
I see what you mean. Like, get kind of say something you wouldn't usually say and kind of see how it lands. But I think, I mean, always more or less in control of the situation.
For
Like, you
sure,
wouldn't
for sure.
insult somebody just to insult them because that's not going to get a good reaction, and that's just mean. But sometimes you just want to say some risky stuff. And you get more confidence saying it
Oh man, yeah.
um, time over time, I guess.
So let's try to wrap this up. Um
Yep.
so yeah, and then you graduated. So how are you these days, man? How are you feeling now?
Um, yeah, man. I think I'm pretty good. I mean, it's COVID, so it sucks. I'm tired of wearing the mask on the street everywhere I go. Um, but like I can still go to France and see my friends. I was actually just there this weekend, so that I'm really happy about. Um, and yeah, man, I'm trying to actually no, to well, like the photography thing is actually going pretty well in the sense that I have sold a few prints. I'm trying to sell them more. Um,
Dude, it's
let me
so
plug
cool to
myself
know
again.
like yeah, it's so cool to know like your creations. You're basically like your bedroom creations can like someone appreciates it, right?
No, no, no. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was in France this weekend. My friends have like I have two friends that have my prints like framed on the wall. Like
Oh,
that's just
dude.
like that's
Yeah.
really nice. You know what I mean? It's like damn, I took this photo and like somebody likes it enough to put it on their wall in their kitchen. Um, and yeah, yeah. Like I've sold a few prints, and I actually did some. So I'm actually meeting with someone after this podcast um, to talk about doing like a fashion photo shoot with a model and everything tomorrow, um, which I'm super stressed about because I look, you don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it could be cool and something that I like fashion, so like it would be a really cool experience as well. So
For
yeah,
sure.
just kind of like working on projects and stuff. Basically, really focus on the whole film thing, trying to grow the website, trying to grow the following, whatever. And I just really, really, really enjoy that right now.
So can you repeat again where can they find you?
Yes. So you can find me at Calvin on Film in one word on Instagram. And if you get on there, there's the website. You can buy prints, you can look at the photos and stuff. So yeah, follow me, show some love, buy some
Yeah.
prints,
As a
basically.
closing statement, I mean, I think there's a good number of people who are still in third or fourth year of university listening to this
hmm
podcast. What would you say to them? Or I guess to anyone in general?
Okay. Um,
Like out of
I
this
would
whole
say,
things that we talked about, it
yeah,
was like a huge learning lesson for you.
yeah. I mean, I think that the biggest learning lesson is I think two things. If we want to talk about more like university, um, yeah, just don't stress too much about grades. First of all, just because if you're smart, if you make sense, if you've got ideas, if you can kind of explain yourself clearly, like you're gonna be fine. Don't yeah, don't ruin your 4 years of university over grades because there's so much that can be done, and especially use all that free time you have in university to get into stuff that you like, to try and maybe discover a cool hobby, get into a sport,
Mm,
go explore things, go meet people. Because I feel like that's something I didn't do enough in university, and I kind of regret it now. Thank God I'm able to do it today, but yeah, that's really important. Use that free time for good, basically, instead of doing nothing, and don't stress out too much about grades. Yeah, pretty
sure.
much.
Dude, gang, man. Thanks for coming on.
Man, my pleasure. That was really fun. I would do
Yeah.
that again. Totally.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm down. You know what? I think it would be fun to do like a group Zoom, dude. A group podcast.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
yeah,
All
that
the
would be
inner
great.
jokes, memories.
Yeah,
Zip
yeah,
zap,
yeah.
dude. Well, yeah. Good
We
luck
should
on
do
your
that.
photo shooting shit, man.
Yeah,
I look
thanks, and good
forward
luck
to
on the
seeing
job.
your. Yeah, appreciate it.
Keep your head up.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'll remember the koi fish.
you should always. All right. See you,
All
man.
right. Yeah.